Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another reading of 1001 Nights. My name is Saman and I'll be your host this evening. The cat is not where she's supposed to be or where she's usually, but yeah, it's okay. We are going to continue the story of Ali the Persian. So, without further ado, as Jana usually says, let's start. Let me just get comfortable. That's better. Enjoy. Now when it was the 295th night, she said, "It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the Persian replied, to hear is to obey." And at once followed the vizier into the presence of the caliph, who bade him be seated and said to him, "O Ali, my heart is heavy within me this night, and it hath come to my ear that thou hast great store of tales and anecdotes. So I desire of thee that thou let me hear what will relieve my despondency and brighten my melancholy." Said he, "O Commander of the Faithful, shall I tell thee what I have seen with my eyes, or what I have heard with my ears?" He replied, "An thou hast seen aught worth the telling, let me hear that." Replied Ali, hearkening and obedience, "Know thou, O Commander of the Faithful, that some years ago I left this, my native city of Baghdad, on a journey, having with me a lad who carried a light leathern bag. Presently we came to a certain city, where as I was buying and selling, behold, a rascally Kurd fell on me and seized my wallet perforce, saying, 'This is my bag, and all which is in it is my property.' Thereupon I cried aloud, 'Ho, Muslims, one and all, deliver me from the hand of the vilest of oppressors.' But the folk said, 'Come, both of you, to the Qazi, and abide ye by his judgment with joint consent.' So I agreed to submit myself to such decision, and we both presented ourselves before the Qazi, who said, 'What bringeth you hither, and what is your case and your quarrel?' Quoth I, 'We are men at difference, who appeal to thee and make complaint and submit ourselves to thy judgment.' Asked the Qazi, 'Which of you is the complainant?' So the Kurd came forward and said, 'Allah preserve our Lord the Qazi. Verily this bag is my bag, and all that is in it is my swag. It was lost from me, and I found it with this man, mine enemy.' The Qazi asked, 'When didst thou lose it?' And the Kurd answered, 'But yesterday, and I passed a sleepless night by reason of its loss.' 'An it be thy bag,' quoth the Qazi, 'tell me, what is in it?' Quoth the Kurd, 'There were in my bag 2 silver styles for eye powder, and antimony for the eyes, and a kerchief for the hands, wherein I had laid 2 gilt cups and 2 candlesticks. Moreover, it contained 2 tents and 2 ewers, and a brass tray and 2 basins, and a cooking pot and 2 water jars, and a ladle and a sacking needle, and a she-cat and 2 bitches, and a wooden trencher and 2 sacks, and 2 saddles and a gown, and 2 fur pelisses and a cow, and 2 calves and a she-goat, and 2 sheep and a ewe, and 2 lambs and 2 green pavilions, and a camel and 2 she-camels, and a lioness and 2 lions, and a she-bear and 2 jackals, and a mattress and 2 sofas, and an upper chamber, and 2 saloons, and a portico and 2 sitting rooms, and a kitchen with 2 doors, and a company of Kurds who will bear witness that the bag is my bag.' Then said the Qazi to me, 'And thou, Sirrah, what sayest thou?' So I came forward, O Commander of the Faithful, and indeed the Kurd's speech had bewildered me, and said, Allah advance our Lord the Qazi. Verily there was naught in this my wallet save a little ruined tenement, and another without a door, and a dog house and a boys' school, and youths playing dice, and tents and tent ropes, and the cities of Basura and Baghdad, and the palace of Shaddad bin Ad, and an ironsmith's forge, and a fishing net, and cudgels and pickets, and girls and boys, and 1,000 pimps who will testify that the bag is my bag. Now when the Kurd heard my words, he wept and wailed, and said, O my lord the Qazi, this my bag is known, and what is in it is a matter of renown. For in this bag there be castles and citadels, and cranes and beasts of prey, and man playing chess and draughts. Furthermore, in this my bag is a brood mare and 2 colts, and a stallion and 2 blood steeds, and 2 long lances. And it containeth eke a lion and 2 hares, and a city and 2 villages, and a whore and 2 sharking ponders, and an hermaphrodite and 2 gallows birds, and a blind man and 2 whites with good side, and a limping cripple and 2 lamenters, and a Christian ecclesiastic and 2 deacons, and the patriarch and 2 monks, and a Qazi and 2 assessors, who will be evidence that the bag is my bag. Quoth the Qazi to me, and what sayest thou, O Ali? So, O Commander of the Faithful, being filled with rage, I came forward and said, Allah keep our Lord, the Qazi. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day, and ceased saying her permitted say. Now when it was the 296th night, she said, It hath reached me, O auspicious King, that the Persian continued, so being filled with rage, O Commander of the Faithful, I came forward and said, Allah keep our Lord the Qazi. I had in this, my wallet, a coat of mail, and a broadsword, and armories, and 1,000 fighting rams, and a sheepfold with its pasturage, and 1,000 barking dogs, and gardens, and vines, and flowers, and sweet-smelling herbs, and figs, and apples, and statues and pictures, and flagons and goblets, and fair-faced slave girls, and singing women, and marriage feasts, and tumult and clamour, and great tracts of land, and brothers of success which were robbers, and a company of daybreak raiders with swords and spears and bows and arrows, and true friends and dear ones, and intimates and comrades, and men imprisoned for punishment and cup companions, and a drum and flutes and flags and banners, and boys and girls and brides in all their wedding bravery, and singing girls, and 5 Abyssinian women, and 3 Hindi maidens, and 4 damsels of Al-Medina, and a score of Greek girls, and 80 Kurdish dames, and 70 Georgian ladies, and Tigris and Euphrates, and a fowling net, and a flint and steel, and many columned Iram, and 1,000 robes and pimps, and horse courses, and stables, and mosques, and baths, and a builder and a carpenter, and a plank and a nail, and a slave with his flageolet, and a captain and a caravan leader, and towns and cities, and 100,000 dinars, and Kufa and Ambar, and 20 chests full of stuff, and 20 storehouses for victual, and Gaza and Ascalon, and from Damietta to Al-Sawan, and the palace of Kisra Anushirwan, and the kingdom of Solomon, and from Wadi Numan to the land of Khorasan, and Balkh and Isfahan, and from India to the Sudan. Therein also, may Allah prolong the life of our Lord the Qazi, are doutlets and cloves, and 1,000 sharp razors to shave off the Qazi's beard, except he fear my resentment, and adjudge the bag to be my bag. Now when the Qazi heard what I and the Kurd avouched, he was confounded and said, I see ye twain be none other than two pestilent fellows, aesthetical villains, who make sport of qazis and magistrates, and stand not in fear of reproach. Never did tongue tell nor ear hear aught more extraordinary than that which ye pretend. By Allah, from China to Shajarat Ghailan, nor from Fars to Sudan, nor from Wadi Numan to Khurasan, was ever heard the like of what ye avouch, or credited the like of what ye affirm. Say, fellows, be this bag a bottomless sea, or the day of resurrection that shall gather together the just and unjust? Then the Qazi bade them open the bag, so I opened it, and behold, there was in it bread and a lemon and cheese and olives. So I threw the bag down before the Kurd and ganged my gait. Now when the Caliph heard this tale from Ali the Persian, he laughed till he fell on his back and made him a handsome present. And men also relate to the tale of Harun al-Rashid and the slave girl and the Imam Abu Yusuf. It is said that Jafar the Barmecide was one night carousing with al-Rashid, who said, "O Jafar, it hath reached me that thou hast bought such and such a slave girl. Now I have long sought her, for she is passing fair, and my heart is taken up with love of her. So do thou sell her to me." He replied, "I will not sell her, O Commander of the Faithful." Quoth he, "Then give her to me." Quoth the other, "Nor will I give her." Then al-Rashid exclaimed, "Be Zubaydah triply divorced, and thou shalt not either sell or give her to me." Then Jafar exclaimed, "Be my wife triply divorced, am I either sell or give her to thee." After a while, they recovered from their tipsiness and were aware of having fallen into a grave dilemma, but knew not by what device to extricate themselves. Then said al-Rashid, "None can help us in this strait but Abu Yusuf." So they sent for him, and this was in the middle of the night. And when the messenger reached him, he arose in alarm, saying to himself, "I should not be sent for at this tide and time, save by reason of some question of moment to al-Islam." So he went out in haste and mounted his she-mule, saying to his servant, "Take the mule's nose bag with thee. It may be she hath not finished her feed. And when we come to the Caliph's palace, put the bag on her, that she may eat what is left of her fodder during the last of the night." And the man replied, "I hear and I obey." Now when the Imam was admitted to the presence, al-Rashid rose to receive him and seated him on the couch beside himself, where he was wont to seat none save the Qazi, and said to him, "We have not sent for thee at this untimely time and tide, save to advise us upon a grave matter, which is such and such, and wherewith we know not how to deal." And he expounded to him the case. Abu Yusuf answered, "O Commander of the Faithful, this is the easiest of things." Then he turned to Jafar and said, "O Jafar, sell half of her to the Commander of the Faithful and give him the other half. So shall you both be quit of your oaths." Burton. The Caliph was delighted with this, and both did as he prescribed. Then said al-Rashid, "Bring me the girl at once." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. It was a short one tonight. We will keep it short until the end of the week. I hope you enjoyed the reading. We are preparing for our special reading on February 6th, live from the presidential suite of the Grand Hotel in Vienna, or Grand, as someone told me. I wish you a wonderful night, and I will see you Saturday. Joanna will be reading tomorrow, though, and Saturday will be live at the Grand Hotel. Have a good night, everyone. Much love. And as usual, remember to go inwards instead of outwards.